I got the moves. I got the moves. I'm making moves. You gotta move. You gotta make the city move. Like, whoa. I make the city move. I got the move.
With the new NBA season right around the corner, I think it's necessary to get into some bold predictions about the upcoming season. For those who don't know, a bold prediction is an outlandish statement that sounds ridiculous, but there is a possibility it could come true, which makes it bold. So if some of these sound crazy, it's intentional, as they are meant to be a bit out there, but at the same time, they will be somewhat realistic. If you're new here and enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe for more NBA content, and be sure to drop your own bold predictions down below in the comment section too. But with that being said, let's get right into these bold predictions. Number 5. The Los Angeles Lakers struggle. This is probably my weakest prediction out of the bunch, but it's nonetheless a bold one. The Lakers made huge moves this offseason, trading for top 5 NBA player Anthony Davis to pair alongside top 3 NBA player LeBron James. This duo is looking to be one of the best in the league, and Lakers fans' eyes are set on another championship potentially to their name. However, this may not be the case. A trend that normally arises on new LeBron teams is a slow start to the season. We saw it in Miami, we saw it a bit in his return to Cleveland, but we noticed it all especially when he originally joined the Lakers. Of course, the roster around LeBron then was pretty underwhelming and the team never got into a rhythm, but at the end of the day, all these teams struggled, especially to begin the season. And yes, even though Davis may be LeBron's best ever teammate, I do think this could happen again. Cousins is gone and replaced by Dwight Howard, and who knows how good he'll be. A majority of this roster is new, not just Davis. A large portion of last season's core is gone. This is a fresh start for LA, and I'm expecting a potential slow beginning to the season for them. At playoff time, this may be a different story, but it's definitely going to be an interesting team to watch over the first couple of months. Number 4. The Indiana Pacers are a top 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. The Indiana Pacers had an underrated offseason and are still one of the more underrated teams in the NBA. They made a couple of brilliant moves this offseason and could be a real threat this season, but seems to be going under everyone's radars. They signed Malcolm Brogdon, an extremely efficient player who joined the 50-40-90 club last season, which is amazing. Oladipo will be returning soon, and if last season proved anything, they can survive the first couple of months without him. Even though Oladipo was injured relatively early on in the season, the Pacers hung tough and almost garnered a home court seed. With extra depth in Brogdon, I do think this team can hang with the best, and once Oladipo is back in his groove, they can be a legit contender. It may seem a bit out there, but the only teams I see the Pacers worse than is the Bucks and 76ers, and they could definitely push for a top 3 seed towards the end of the season. To me, the possibility of this prediction becoming reality will depend on how well they start the season, but I'm pretty confident they will and should make a big push come playoff time. Number 3. Miami Heat missed the playoffs. The Heat made a surprising move this summer and were able to sign and trade for Jimmy Butler, a consistent NBA star player. Everyone is hyping this move up a lot, and I think this will be an exciting team to watch, I'm not going to lie. But with that being said, I do think this team isn't amazing and probably won't be anything special or a true threat to contenders unless they get a second star, of course. This is why I can see them potentially missing the playoffs next season. The Bucks, 76ers, Celtics, Nets and Pacers are definitely all better than the Heat, and you could definitely say the Raptors are better than them too. And if we really think about it, the Pistons could be a better squad as well. They have all-star caliber players in Griffin and Drummond, and even Rose has showcased he's still a valuable player. At the end of the day though, the Heat have a good roster. Butler is their star, Tyler Hero looks like he could be the steal of the draft, Adebayo may just break out, but unfortunately, there is also a big possibility this team is just, well, average. In my standings prediction video, I put them as the 6th seed, but I was definitely considering putting them 7th or 8th. I believe the Heat will fluctuate in and out of the playoff picture throughout the entire season, and when it all comes to a close, could very well be sitting outside of it. For more in-depth on this team and its future, I recommend watching my video on why the Heat should sign Carmelo Anthony, because unfortunately, without a second star scoring option, I'm a bit pessimistic about this team and whether they can make the playoffs or not. Number 2, Nikola Jokic is an MVP candidate. One of the dark horses for the MVP next season, I believe, is Nikola Jokic. Jokic is an NBA superstar in just his 4th NBA season and broke out last year to take Denver to a 2nd seed. In this season, he averaged 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists, and has already been named the greatest passing big man of all time. The crazy thing is, he's nowhere near his prime, and with the supporting cast around him further developing, the Nuggets are ready to make a legitimate push next season. This is why I see him as an MVP candidate. After all these crazy moves this offseason, it seems like everyone has forgotten about the Nuggets and how much of a threat they could legitimately be. They've proved it last season by taking Portland to 7 games and winning 54 games last season. I don't think this is at all a fluke, and if the Nuggets can go on to win 50 plus games again, finish as a top 3 seed in the West, and Jokic improves his stats up again, there should be no reason why he can't win the award next season, or at the very least, be a top 3 candidate for it. Number 1. The Golden State Warriors are a top 2 seed in the Western Conference. The Golden State Warriors may have lost Kevin Durant this offseason and Cousins too, but this doesn't mean the title contention era is over. The Warriors got D'Angelo Russell, a young rising all-star for KD in the blockbuster sign and trade this past July, and also got other solid pieces to add to the depth of the team. On paper, this team actually looks really good and could be a real threat to top-tier teams if everything works out. I'm expecting Curry to have a brilliant year, maybe averaging similar numbers to his 2016 campaign and be in the running for the MVP. Though an ACL injury is not a good thing, I'm not expecting it to heavily impact Klay's game, and he should be just as good when he returns. Draymond Green showed us flashes of his Defensive Player of the Year ways in last year's playoffs. He could return to that level. Overall, this team is looking very promising, and if most things go their way, they could easily grab a top 2 seed next season in my eyes and make a run at yet another finals appearance, which would just be crazy. You can never seem to count out the Warriors. They are always looking for ways to retool and compete, and I think with their current roster, they can easily do that this season. It's a bit bold, but I have high expectations for this team, and I reckon a top 2 seed is very possible once the season is all said and done. But that will conclude the video and my bold prediction list. What do you guys think of it? What are your bold predictions, and do you agree with mine? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop it a like and subscribe. But with that being said, I am out. Peace.
Big Jeezy got it locked, boy.